The two most harmful nutrients for leg weakening. Following 60, feeling your legs come to be weaker, heavier, or sore may want to imply situation. Observe that even standing for a long length walking or ascending stairs is starting to be difficult. If so, be very careful. What I'm approximately to show in this video might be something you would in no way guess, and will help to make clear precisely why that is going on. Eating a few risky meals, 2 vitamins shockingly deemed vital for health, and a pregracket of 2 factors sapping the electricity for your legs all make a contribution to this hassle. Sure, vitamins that everybody claims are useful for you may truly be making your muscle groups weaker, straining your joints, and causing your legs to be unsteady, uncomfortable, and uncovered. The most terrifying factor is these dangers are to your day-by-day lifestyles. Every sip and each mouthful can be nourishing the weak point you experience, but it includes these 2 nutrients you is probably popping right now will virtually astound you. When in fact you are hastening muscular loss and undermining your legs, you probably buy them at the drugstore with the best intentions, believing you're safeguarding yourself, being concerned of your body, and fortifying your bones. This movie will reveal the fact at the back of those drugs and ingredients you'll know what is genuinely causing the weariness, edema, stiffness, and pain that keeps routine. Most importantly, you may discover what to keep away from and what to modify from now to get better, your strength, energy, and autonomy. Wish to preserve your leg strength for years and age healthily? Then live with me till the end. 15 candies and sugary cakes. Desserts and chocolates have historically been linked to consolation and entertainment. After 60, though, this exercise might become a quiet enemy on your leg health. Excessive delicate sugar intake sets off inflammatory reactions within the body, especially within the muscles and joints. Chronics. Irritation causes the legs to be extra sensitive, uncomfortable, and prone to deterioration. Furthermore, sugar is without delay related to better insulin resistance, which depletes muscular power. Muscle weakens and grows less efficient, whilst it lacks sufficient strength. Excess sugar additionally helps one collect weight, which puts more pressure for your legs. Every extra pound requires more paintings out of your lower frame muscular tissues and joints. Extra weight will increase wear and tear, discomfort, and a sense of weak point inside the lower extremities. For older individuals, who certainly lose muscular mass with age, this is particularly concerning. Sugar also will increase the body's toxin era, which aggravates inflammatory reactions even more. The extra inflammation the greater tough it is to keep your legs useful. And corporation. Were you aware that sugar directly influences blood flow consumed in extra? It increases the likelihood of vascular problems, limiting lower limb blood flow. Poor circulate approach the leg muscle tissues, get fewer oxygen and vitamins. This hinders tissue renewal and slows muscular recuperation. A dessert's amusement can be too highly priced for your health. Apart from metabolic results, goodies are poor in necessary vitamins for muscular health, such proteins and magnesium. Put every other manner you are ingesting empty calories that weaken the frame in preference to strengthening it. In antique age, this sort of unbalanced weight loss program reasons muscular mass loss, one of the major adversaries of mobility. The purpose might be as trustworthy as a slice of pie or a chunk of cake, in case you trust your legs are growing more weaker. What looks like an innocent indulgence can be undermining your independence and strength. Most manufacturing unit-made goodies additionally have chemical components like dyes and preservatives that worsen irritation. These elements disturb the herbal equilibrium of the body and immediately have an effect on the muscular gadget. When combined with sugar, they invent a very awful health mixture. Already a tremendous circulate is changing those goodies with natural alternatives, as cinnamon on fruit, or handcrafted cakes with lower sugar. Of root you could nevertheless have a dessert, simply with wiser decisions that honor your body. Your legs and your taste senses will recognize you. 14th, fried ingredients. Fries are tough to withstand. However, the harm they do to the body after 60 cannot be unnoticed. Rich in trans and saturated fat, these foods raise inflammatory markers inside the body. This infection without delay impacts the muscle mass and joints as a result, stiffening the legs, growing their discomfort, and predisposing them to damage. Fried meals. Fats additionally hinders blood go with the flow as a result, complicating muscle oxygenation. Poor movement robs the frame of its capability to heal and develop robust. Fried food also reason blood vessel blockage, that is any other problem. This restricts, even in addition, the passage of vital nutrients to the leg muscle tissue. Over time, this mechanism weakens the frame's help and hastens joint put on. Among the key offenders are ingredients such as donuts, fowl nuggets, and French fries. Before we start, I would love to recognize wherein you are with me nowadays. Leave a comment down below, and do not hesitate to inquire approximately whatever. Remember to press the subscribe button and permit notifications to continually get the best fitness advice from Senior Health. And in case you're viewing now, I need to recognize you are with me. Comment type 1 if this video resonates with you. If no longer kind or 0, consumed frequently, those products absolutely overwhelm the skeletal and circulatory systems. The taste does no longer warrant the fitness damage. Have you ever observed that after a dinner high in fried foods, your legs felt greater sore and heavier? Your frame is responding to the excess of dangerous fat. These ingredients' long digestion uses a lot of electricity. Thus, much less is left for the muscle groups. This food plan can also directly reflect in leg weariness. Furthermore, ordinary consuming of fried food has been related to weight upward thrust, which further compounds the pressure at the lower extremities, breaking its miles quite hard. Fried ingredients additionally have low nutritional density. This means that they provide few nutrients, minerals, and proteins, truly strengthening the muscle tissues. A diet dominated by using this kind of meals creates an imbalance that encourages loss of muscular mass. Less muscle reasons the legs to lose stability and pressure. This affects your potential to hold weight, ascend stairs, or walk securely. Avoiding fried foods is one in all, several straightforward movements that assist you to hold your mobility and independence. Changing fried meals for better cooking techniques felicitates to shop your legs 13. Though its impact at the frame, especially after 60, is far from benign. White bread is a normal breakfast and snack object made from subtle flour. It is going through a process eliminating maximum of the fibers and important nutrients. This makes it a fast-absorbed carbohydrate that raises blood glucose stages. These spikes directly affect muscular health, especially within the legs, therefore producing weariness and weakness. Regular eating causes metabolic imbalance. White bread, low in fiber and high in glycemic index, additionally increases insulin resistance by lacking fiber, impairs the entrance of glucose into muscle cells. For this reason, influencing the electricity and strength required for daily activities, muscle firmness inside the legs is extra tough to preserve the much less energy they get. This can turn into muscular mass loss, something somewhat usual with growing old. In this situation, white bread stops being an impartial food and starts to be a motive of inflammation. White bread's consequences increase beyond glucose. Being a weight loss plan low in proteins and minerals, it provides no proper help for muscle recuperation. To save you sarcopenia, the innovative loss of muscle, older folks require extra proteins. Neglecting opportunity protein resources and ingesting white bread each day is a mistake that depletes the body meal by meal. This could result in unresistant, weary, unsteady legs. Apart from no longer feeding, white bread encourages weight boom in particular. Whilst paired with butter cheeses or cakes, excess weight places pressure at the legs, already inherently greater, fragile in later a long time. Pain, infection, and an improved hazard of damage. Comply with white bread limits mobility, in preference to assisting every bite, may want to seem risk-free. But the total of horrific consuming practices is what reasons the maximum damage. Fortunately, there are many more nutritional and higher substitutes. Whole grain breads, clearly fermented or manufactured with grains like oats, flaxseed, and rye, offer beneficial fibers and vitamins, circuitously beautify muscle groups, cell digestion, and aid to normalize blood sugar. Combined with proteins and healthful fat, which include eggs or avocado, they invent balanced meals. You want now, not surrender bread. Simply select higher. Still, in this film, you may find the 2 worst nutrients that impair your legs 12th, with age mainly. Whilst we don't forget muscle and joint fitness of the legs, consuming alcoholic liquids is even extra dangerous. Beyond 60, the frame will become much less efficient in metabolizing alcohol, hence increasing its damaging results. Among the important outcomes is the venture in soaking up crucial minerals consisting of calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D. Lacking these components, the muscle tissues weaken and the bones get brittle, consequently heightening the chance of fractures and falls. Alcohol also, without delay, hinders muscle restore. This means that following any bodily exertion, the body want more time to repair the tissues, subsequently inflicting prolonged pain, weariness, and an expanded risk of harm. The drink also causes dehydration, which impairs muscular flexibility and promotes leg ugly cramps. Furthermore, alcohol impairs liver characteristic, which is related to the synthesis of compounds crucial for tissue fitness. The hyperlink among ingesting and weight growth is also pretty massive. alcoholic liquids are very calorie wealthy and inspire belly fats formation, even in contemporary quantities. This extra weight strains the legs and requires extra from the joints, consequently impairing the capability to move. Adding this to the natural lower of muscle mass with growing old can have catastrophic consequences on mobility and fine of existence. Have you found that your frame wakes up more exhausted and aching after a nighttime of consuming it? Is the reflection of the pressure alcohol puts on the muscle groups and joints. Regular use increases the frame inflammatory levels, which aggravates discomfort and lowers the desire for physical pastime. Over time, this exercise substantially undermines the frame's ability to stay active and healthful. And shortly, I'm going to disclose which 2 nutrients should weaken your legs. 11. Many humans' routines include processed meats for his or her comfort, but they mask grave leg health dangers, especially in vintage age. High in sodium and chemical preservatives ingredients, which includes bacon, ham, and sausages, encourage persistent inflammation at some point of the frame. This type of infection impacts the joints and causes ongoing soreness in the leg muscle groups, ankles, and knees. These ingredients may be without delay related to the stiffness humans experience upon awakening. Processed meats have every other disadvantage: their excessive saturated fats content. This fats decreases muscular blood drift, increases terrible cholesterol levels, and compromises circulation. Poor irrigation deprives the leg muscle groups of nutrition and oxygen, therefore impairing their protection and regeneration. The outcome is a sluggish weakening of the decreased extremities, and sooner or later this decline in electricity restricts fundamental day-by-day duties. Furthermore, those meals help to accumulate toxins within the frame, stressing the liver and kidneys. These organs are crucial in filtering out chemicals that when collected cause muscular weariness. Preservatives in processed meats have also been proven to have an effect on glucose metabolism for this reason, lowering the muscle strength to be had. Once greater, the effect is experienced straight inside the legs, as ongoing feelings of weariness and heaviness. While aged people every now and then pick out these objects for their ease, nutritional attention need to be doubled exactly on this degree of existence. When it involves sacrificing first class of lifestyles, the ease is probably expensive. Choosing wholesome proteins, which includes eggs, chook fish, and lean cuts of red meat, is a key first step in preserving muscular electricity and fitness. All the distinction comes from clean replacements. Substitute avocado or olive oil for bacon, cooked eggs for sausage, and shredded bird breast for ham. The frame starts off evolved to alter with these adjustments. The legs emerge as lighter and extra alive. Between taste and freedom, among pride and lifespan, it is a reasonable deal, though their effect on the body, mainly after 60, is concerning. Instantaneous noodles would seem to be the precise solution for human beings looking for comfort, largely composed of refined flour and chemical components, imparting especially little nutritional price. This speedy meal is the final results. A calorie-rich meal, low in fiber, proteins, and micronutrients, vital components for retaining muscular mass. Over time, this form of diet without delay causes leg and mobility deterioration. Among the main drawbacks of short noodles is their very high salt level. An unmarried serving may want to provide you greater than 1 cup of the each day. Suggested consumption of this mineral. 2. A lot sodium encourages fluid retention, which makes the legs swollen and painful. Furthermore, it increases blood pressure, which hinders sufficient blood go with the flow to the muscular tissues. Poor move also reasons muscle tissues to emerge as undernourished, vulnerable, and slower to recover from hobby. The chemical additives within the flavors that accompany the noodles are some other purpose for fear. Often connected to chronic inflammatory tactics are preservatives, colors, and monosodium glutamate. Even whilst minor, those inflammations impair joint function and velocity, muscle deterioration. Eventually this outcomes in pain, stiffness, and mobility restrictions, being extra common inside the day-by-day existence of people who consume this sort of meals. The impact on metabolism is surely essential as well. Lack of fibers increases the glycemic index of the noodles, which in flip raises blood sugar tiers. Glycemic instability influences insulin interest, hence stopping muscle tissue from efficaciously using electricity. Muscles develop susceptible and tired quickly when they lack powerful strength intake. Poor weight loss program can turn a simple walk to the store into a grueling conflict. 9. While they hide additives that critically harm leg health, especially within the mature duration, industrially made desserts scent like children and taste like joy, filled with processed sugar, hydrogenated fat, and artificial preservatives that disappointed metabolism and irritate the frame. These objects are especially sugar disturbs insulin characteristic and encourages the buildup of frame fat. This now not handiest causes overweight, however, also sets a metabolic inputting terrible for keeping muscular strength. The presence of trans fat, which might be utilized to improve taste and shelf life, is some other important factor of those cakes. These fats decrease desirable EDL cholesterol and raise bad EDL cholesterol for this reason, compromising blood glide. Poor blood movement deprives the leg muscles of required nutrients and reasons them to become worse. Over the long term, this can reason lack of lean mass, joint stiffness, and likely mobility problems. Eating industrially made desserts on an everyday foundation is also linked to continual irritation, one of the key causes of muscular weakness and joint discomfort. Emulsifiers, stabilizers, and dyes, amongst other ingredients, affect the immune machine and purpose. Inflammatories, reactions primarily impacting the leg joints, more discomfort, less mobility, and a cycle of sedentarism that drives muscle loss are the outcomes. Though scrumptious, those cakes lack excessive nutritional density, that is to mention, whilst missing vital nutrients like proteins, calcium, and magnesium, so essential for muscle and bone health. They are heavy in calories. Eating this form of food often is like looking to strengthen your frame with tainted gas. In this case, your muscle tissues are the engine, and it does now not react the same way. Rather, it well-known shows screw-ups, weariness, and slowness. Often the benefit of eating food drives us to unthinking decisions. Making homemade cakes using entire vegetation, fruits, and natural oils may be simply as sensible as shopping a ready-made product. However, the difference is inside the impact this choice will have in your frame in the medium and long term. Your muscle tissue will respect additional firmness, mindset, and vigor as you reteach your palate. 8. Though they look handy and scrumptious, ultra-processed cheeses like spreads, processed slices, and melted cheeses masks grave dangers for humans trying maintained leg electricity after 60, high in sodium and saturated fat. These meals have an effect on the muscular and vascular system twice. Sodium promotes fluid retention and will increase blood pressure. Saturated fats undermines the power of blood vessels, therefore impairing stream. These legs get greater, bloated, uncomfortable, and heavy due to this combination. Furthermore, ultra-processed cheeses regularly consist of preservatives and phosphates, amongst other ingredients that exchange the mineral balance of the body. Two minerals essential for muscular contraction and bone health, calcium and magnesium, are without delay laid low. With this incorrect absorption of those minerals reasons the frame to expose signs and symptoms of muscular weariness, joint soreness, and even midnight cramps. Being big and lots use the leg muscle groups are the first to expose caution indicators. Another tremendous thing is that those cheeses lack beneficial grade proteins. Unlike artisanal cheeses, which higher maintain their dietary profile, the ultra-processed ones undergo industrial techniques that lower their nutritional density. This suggests that although you're eating energy, the frame is not getting the amino acids required to sustain muscular mass. Losing muscle is a few of the key reasons of practical decline and dependency. As one, a long time, have you ever determined that following a meal excessive in processed ingredients, the body feels heavier and much less eager? This is genuine and consequences from the demineralizing and inflammatory motion of those items. Over time, the absence of important vitamins leads to bone weak spot and a decline in muscular performance. Short walks take extra effort than they need to, and the steps that appear clean turn out to be a barrier. Everything may be linked to the form of cheese that goes to your toast. A true way to preserve fitness is to replace those objects with brisker, less processed cheeses, which include ricotta, cottage, or mayonnaise cheese. And bear in mind, we're approaching the maximum extensive discovery of this movie. Still to come are the 2 worst vitamins to your legs. 7th, though they pose a splendid threat to leg health after 60 commercial ice creams are the various most famous dishes on warm days, or as a dessert. These gadgets are very caloric and inflammatory on account that they comprise saturated fat with huge levels of delicate sugar. This kind of food plan reasons increases in blood sugar, then rapid drops that endanger the muscular electricity balance. This instability makes the legs weak, heavy, and greater prone to exhaustion. Ice lotions, especially those of terrible nice, include saturated fat that harms the cardiovascular machine. Oxygenated blood has problem attaining the body's extremities, which include the legs. The result is a feeling of numbness, tingling, or even ongoing cramps. Over the long term, this circulation deficit causes muscular weakening, lack of mobility, and a higher fall danger. All this time, we assume we're best treating ourselves. Furthermore, commercial ice lotions have artificial colorations, emulsifiers, and thickeners that irritate bodily inflammation. One of the important reasons of joint and muscular tissues harm is that this quiet irritation, the ongoing use of these objects, encourages digestive and hormonal abnormalities that, without delay, have an impact on the absorption of crucial vitamins for muscle improvement. Lacking nutrients, the body can't stay solid and sturdy through the years. Another vital thing is that these meals provide no true nutritional value. Rich in empty calories, they neither build muscle groups, mend tissues, or feed joints. This way that even at the same time as eating something excellent, the feeling of weariness stays and could likely get more potent. The impact on the legs is clear: less firmness, or everyday ache, and less tolerance to bodily hobby. Every mouthful robs the body of the possibility to strengthen itself. 6. Whether as a dessert or a satisfaction in the center of the day, milk chocolates are a part of many people's exercises. But their normal use can have an extra serious impact than it first appears, particularly on the legs of folks over 60. High in sugar and saturated fat, these chocolates promote inflammatory mechanisms, immediately influencing joints and muscle tissue. Glucose and negative fat together create metabolic overload, which promotes the decline of muscular energy. Low cocoa content material in milk chocolate is any other difficulty, as it's far precisely in which the good antioxidants are observed. Most business variations go away: extraordinarily processed product loaded with preservatives and synthetic sweeteners. These chemicals now not only harm the liver and pancreas, but additionally disrupt the absorption of important vitamins for muscular fitness. The result: exhausted legs without vigor are more prone to aches and stiffness. The simple sugars in those candies are rapidly absorbed, inflicting insulin surges that rob muscular strength. For human beings already locating it difficult to hold lean mass, this volatility is catastrophic. Furthermore, milk chocolate is now and again related to stomach weight growth, which aggravates the pressure on the decreased extremities. This continual overload promotes the damage and tear of the joints of the knees, hips, and ankles. Healthy replacements, however, let glad instances still be had. High cocoa goodies provide antioxidants and flavonoids that assist move and muscular tissues. When eaten in moderation, these objects may even work with vascular health, always pushed through awareness and stability. The secret is in choice and quantity. 5. Though very handy, canned ingredients have some of elements that could significantly endanger the health of the legs in old age. Most of those items include chemical preservatives such as sodium benzoate and nitrite, in addition to shade salt and different chemical substances. These substances are very inflammatory and damage muscle and vascular health. Consumed often, they obstruct the muscle regeneration procedure and make it impossible for muscle groups to oxygenate. Furthermore, the greater salt in canned items promotes fluid retention, one of the principal motives for a feeling of heavy and uncomfortable legs. This retention, not handiest, causes ache, but may additionally endorse insufficient circulate and tissue inflammation in those with hypertension, common after 60. The problem receives worse as the extra salt stresses the cardiovascular system and compromises the supply of crucial nutrients to the muscular tissues. The decline in dietary excellence is every other regarding factor of canned ingredients. Even canned meats and greens go through strategies that strip maximum of their inherent nutrients. What is left is a food plan low in minerals and nutrients but high in poisons the frame has to combat to remove. This metabolic pressure depletes strength and compromises muscular performance. Your food may be extra in charge for the continued weariness and leg weak point than you consider. Furthermore, though in tiny portions, the aluminium observed in positive cans can increase in the frame over the years. There are symptoms that the neurological gadget and muscular characteristic may be harmed by means of normal ingesting of metal field saved food. This increases the opportunity of falls, imbalances, and slow weakening, a chance that just does not pay off given the other options on the market. For people who wish to preserve mobility, an essential first step is heading off canned objects and deciding on fresh, frozen, or obviously preserved options. Cooking with actual substances free of synthetic components offers nearly instantaneous advantages to nicely being. It's additionally a choice that safeguards your autonomy and fine of existence as time is going on. If you trust that simplest industrialized meals damage your legs, realize that there's but greater to be discovered. Soon we will speak the two most hazardous vitamins for muscular fitness. The truth of these supplements should surprise you. For many human snacks consist of stuffed cookies and processed snacks. However, after 60, their consumption can hasten leg strength loss. These ingredients are actual aggressors to the frame, being complete of artificial substances along with dyes, flavorings, preservatives, and stabilizers. They not most effective aggravate the frame but additionally pressure critical organs just like the liver and kidneys, immediately disrupting move and the absorption of necessary nutrients for the musculature. These gadgets are low in minerals, proteins, fiber, and excessive in energy. Put some other way, they offer loads of calories and very little nourishment. For the aged, that is pretty harmful because the frame now not maintains nutrients because it did in adolescence. A richer, extra practical food plan is wanted to offset the everyday loss of muscles brought on via getting older. Eating ingredients excessive in sugar, hydrogenated fat, and salt most effective hastens this decline. Trans fat, or the type of fats used in these goods, is another enormous trouble. One of the key inflammatory factors in cutting-edge eating regimen is that this form of synthetic fats, they not handiest block arteries, however, also prevent the glide of oxygen and nutrient-rich blood to the muscle groups.
poor irrigation of the leg muscle mass, consequences in discomfort, weariness, and occasionally a feeling of unsteady legs, though gradually the fragility is imposed quietly. Furthermore, too much sodium in those food causes fluid retention, which makes the decreased limb edema worse. Swollen legs are obvious indicators of a hassle. Poor weight loss plan blended with compromised stream sets just the right conditions for the increase of varicose veins, continual aches and a sense of weightiness at the same time as walking. All of this will come from apparently harmless appetizers. These snacks and cookies additionally reason increases in glucose and short drops thereafter, therefore weakening the body and growing a never-ending starvation for more meals. This terrible cycle decreases muscular power and promotes weight increase. Your capacity to maintain sturdy, wholesome and useful legs in daily existence diminishes the greater you rely upon this kind of product. Replacing natural bars already totally alters this situation. 3. From ready-made seasonings to quick noodles passing through meat broths, packet soups, and numerous frozen equipped food, industrialized meals abound with monosodium glutamate. Though its consequences at the human frame move far beyond taste, this addition is meant to improve the taste of foods. For human beings above 60, everyday consumption of monosodium may be alternatively harmful, specifically to the leg muscle tissue. Monosodium affects essential neurotransmitters controlling muscular contraction by the neurological gadget. Those greater susceptible to this chemical may additionally suffer muscle aches, complications, tinglings, and overall weariness. When these effects display in the legs, they produce emotions of weight, stiffness, and every so often slight tremors. As the frame receives increasingly at risk of exotoxic chemicals which harm neurons, the problem receives worse with age. Furthermore, monosodium glutamate reasons chronic bodily irritation affecting joints, muscle tissue, and blood vessels. This infection compromises muscular characteristic and circulation inside the extremities. Poorly oxygenated legs increase the chance of muscular weak spot cramping and mobility loss substantially. Many ingredients with monosodium are also truly excessive in sodium, which aggravates fluid retention and leg edema. This additive additionally influences energy metabolism, consequently changing muscular glucose consumption. This lowers the efficacy of the muscle in remodeling energy into electricity, as a result compromising the legs even in fundamental activities like stair hiking or walking quick distances. Over the long run, this weight loss plan might purpose muscular
day-by-day obligations. Many human beings are blind to their normal monosodium intake. Product labels hide it beneath numerous titles, inclusive of taste enhancer, yeast extract, hydrate protein, and different technical terms that difficult to understand its actual impact. So the goal is to select natural flavors like fresh herbs, garlic, onion, lemon, and olive oil over ultra-processed meals and synthetic seasonings. Now we will reveal the 2 worst nutrients that, if taken in extra, ought to compromise your leg energy. Second, excess nutrition. A vitamin A is important for several physical tactics along with eyesight, immunity, and skin integrity. But too much vitamin A, particularly from dietary supplements, can be dangerous and cause a number of poor outcomes consisting of on the leg muscle groups. Beyond 60, the body struggles extra to metabolize and excrete an excessive amount of this vitamin, elevating the likelihood of liver and joint buildup. MS muscle discomfort, mainly in the legs, and again is among the most regular signs and symptoms of hypervitaminosis A, even though it comes from an excessive amount of vitamin which inflames the muscle tissues. This soreness might be stressed with joint or spinal problems. Apart from discomfort, obvious indicators that nutritional balance has been disturbed are reviews of muscular weak spot, hassle, ascending stairs, walking or rising from a extended sitting. 2. Plenty nutrition. A also hinders the absorption of other vital minerals together with magnesium and calcium. Lacking these minerals, the muscle mass cannot agreement and relax effectively, subsequently promoting the development of weariness, spasms and cramps within the legs. Furthermore, diet A buildup within the liver ought to impair electricity generation for this reason, compromising muscular feature. The result is a gradual decline in mobility and power. Excess vitamin A has another damaging effect. Bone demineralization, particularly inside the legs and hips areas, a lot utilized in day-by-day lifestyles. This compromises the bones and increases the probability of fractures. In people with osteopenia or osteoporosis, the effect is a ways extra dangerous. Vitamin A supplements must for that reason be used handiest beneath medical steering and continually in regulated amounts. One of the key drivers of those HID problems is self-remedy, naturally occurring in ingredients such liver, egg yolk, complete milk, carrot, and pumpkin. Vitamin A as a balanced eating regimen gets rid of the need for dietary supplements. Exaggeration, especially in enriched goods or powerful supplements, starts off evolve the hazard. Thus, taking into consideration all resources, such as multivitamins, overall consumption, need to be watched closely. First, often linked to bone health and the perfect immune system operation. Excess nutrition, D, is especially counseled for the aged, but few humans realize that too much of it could have most important bad outcomes, even at the legs. Normally from immoderate supplementation. Hypervitaminosis D, consequences from a buildup of this vitamin inside the frame. Muscle discomfort is one of the key symptoms of this imbalance. It is followed by weakening and motor coordination loss. Unlike different nutrients, the frame quickly discards vitamin D is fat-soluble, and so shops in adipose tissues. Excess nutrition D can lead to better blood calcium levels, now and again called hypercalcemia. This affects in leg stiffness, muscle burning, cramped joint pain, and different related symptoms. Hypercalcemia right now influences the muscles and nerves, hence compromising the electric impulses directing body motions. 2. Nutrition D also can result in pointless calcification of tender tissues, which includes muscle tissue and tendons. This implies that locations just like the knees, calves, and thighs might get stiffer, much less bendy and uncomfortable beneath effort. What should be a shielding chemical will become considered one of put-on and torti restriction. Elderly adults who take high quantities of diet D without clinical supervision have a better chance of experiencing those problems. Another troubling difficulty is that massive doses of nutrition D can damage the kidneys in price of mineral balance within the blood. Poor filtration and substance retention display the renal effect, which aggravates leg edema, muscular pain, and a sense of weak point. This units off a feedback loop. More vitamin D, extra calcium, much less kidney feature. Greater muscle problems. Vitamin D supplementation need to usually be tailor-made depending on lab exams and medical advice. Hence, it's miles important to strain this. Many individuals consider their top for the frame, and so eat huge quantities on their personal excess. Excess can be just as dangerous as lack, and with reference to the legs, the result may be the loss of motion and independence. Subscribe to the channel because it became created that will help you become a more fit man or woman with better satisfactory of lifestyles. Hence, if you wish to maintain getting the finest motion pictures on your fitness, achieve this. Assisting you is my purpose. The video now gambling for your screen indicates the 3 essential vitamins each diabetic ought to take. Check it out with the aid of clicking on the display screen. Therefore, till the following video.